Hi, how you doing? It's really raining and miserable out there. I've just done the school run and I thought, do you know what? Today, I'm not going to send you a big Word document with lots of info. As a recovering theoryaholic, if there's such a thing, I know now, 10, 11 years into my coaching journey, just how important it is to just dive into stuff. And I know you'll appreciate too, we all learn differently. Some of us love to go and read lots of books. Some of us like to experience it. Some of us like to watch others do it, like to see, hear. So I'm mixing up a little bit today. So over the last 3 weeks, we've had a little look at what NLP is, because a lot of NLP theory underpins what I do in Mind Tools for Kids. We've looked at how we experience the world around us and how we process things, whether we're visual, whether we're auditory, whether we like to listen, whether we're a feeling kind of person. And then we've had a little skim over clean language, which is a really lovely, simple model so that we can really see what's going on for other people rather than putting our own stuff into it. So this is just some optional reading for those of you that like to get a flavour for things before we get involved. So what I wanted to do was just help you understand a little bit more what NLP is, because being born in the 70s by two psychologists, wannabe turned sciencey dudes on a road trip in America, they came up with lots of jargon, and it's great stuff, but it can be very jargon based, and that can be really, really difficult to learn and to think, well, how do I learn this, read it, and then implement? So I want to dispel that myth for you now and just make it a little bit more real. So NLP is all about how we filter and process things differently depending on what our experiences of the world are, our beliefs, what we've been taught, what we've learnt. And it's how our behaviour shows up within that context. So, for instance, you'll know that there are people that have different tolerances to different things, different experiences and events will happen and others will think different things have happened. It's all about that. And NLP actually came about because they wanted to look for success strategies. They wanted to look for all the optimum ways to do things. And they wanted to look at people that did really, really well, say in business, in therapy, in life, even TV presenting, stuff like that. And they wanted to know, what are the differences? What are those people doing differently to the people that struggle in these situations, or the people that don't get as much success? So that's what it's about. They then went on and came up with all of these amazing techniques and things that you can do, little tricks and ways that we can understand how we think and process things. Some of them are a bit more jargony than others, but with Mind Tools for Kids, I like to take all of the terminology out and just look at what the bare bones of it are and go with the things that make quick wins and differences. So you would have seen in the first week's reading, we look at the NLP communications model. And again, stripping that back, it basically is something happens in the world around us. Let's say, for instance, I drop a pen, and say if we're all in a room and we're watching, that external event goes through like a machine in our minds, like a factory, and it goes through lots of different filters. It goes through filters about our past, our experiences, what we already know about the world, loads of other things, our memories, our beliefs, our values, and then out the other side comes our behaviour. So some people will think she threw the pen. Some people will think she dropped the pen. Some people will think she launched the pen at me. We all will have different behavioural responses. Some of us may have shock. We all have different responses to different things. And the NLP communications model breaks that down. Something on the outside happens, it goes into our head, it goes through all of these filters of time, and so many filters that it goes through. It goes through our language, it goes through how we think and process, whether we're a feeling person, whether we're a visual person, whether we're a hearing person, and then our behaviour comes out the other end. And again, what they wanted to do was look at the people that have these amazing strategies within them that get amazing behavioural results at the end, okay? And this is helpful for us when we're thinking of working with kids, parents, or anyone in a coaching capacity, because we can start to notice what are the filters that that person is experiencing. What happens when this thing happens on the outside to change how they show up on the outside in return. So that's in a very brief nutshell what happens. You can just see Just notice Nancy in the background in her jumperoo, trying to just pop her head up there, bless her. So someone like Nancy is at ground zero with this. So she's got her natural traits in there, but behaviourally, she's learning. She's watching everything that goes on around her. She's watching these behaviours that we have. She's watching the external events and seeing how we show up. So she's creating her own map. We talk in NLP about your map of the world, your unique way of seeing what happens around you, seeing your filters. I use these with kids. It really helps them understand that we look at the world through different glasses. And that's how we start to create our map. We start to learn from the people around us. We have our own experiences. We come from the way that we process the world around us. And sometimes the map that we have is really helpful, and sometimes it's not. So this is all about looking at the optimum way to do things and understanding and breaking down a bit more how people behave. So it's nothing too clunky, really. It's quite simple. And if you want to read more on it, I can share lots more with you on it. But it's just about how we all experience things around us. And you'll see that people from different cultures will behave in different ways too. People from different generations will behave in different ways, and people that have had really significant experiences in their life will also show up and behave in different ways. The great thing about kids is, unless they've experienced something hugely traumatic, they're normally more receptive to look at different ways to process, different ways to change their filters, and then they can get different behaviours. Whereas us adults are carrying this stuff for years and years and years, and it can be a lot more difficult to make the changes. We have to really want to do it. I'm just going to quickly have a look through the sheet that I sent you to see what else I put on there for week 1. Okay, I put some things on there about how we make generalizations, how we delete, distort and generalize what happens around us. So for some people, we will delete certain information that's not of value for us. People that aren't parents, that don't care about kids, won't be noticing all the child things that are going on around them. It's a natural thing. We make generalizations. We all know that a door handle goes like that. We don't have to think, door, quickly, get my hand, move it down, that's how we open it. We do it unconsciously because we're able to generalize. We are that sophisticated in how we process things that we can do that. And some of us distort what happens. So for instance, that might be the person that's been in a rubbish relationship and then feels that every man's like that, when that's not actually true, but they distort it in their mind. It's really fascinating how we build our own map of the world. It's really interesting thing. And sometimes it's not until we start learning stuff like this that we realise what we're carrying around with us. So I'm wondering what you've noticed about your own map about the world. What do you carry around with you? What filters do you see the world through? I would really love to know, because this is super fascinating stuff. And then what else have I got in there? I talk about the presuppositions of NLP. It's a bit like a brownie pledge, some givens that are helpful. And again, NLP is a model. It's not the exact model that we use with Mind Tools for Kids coaching. It's a helpful bag of tools. Some of them you'll love, some other things will resonate with you. This is about you finding the approach that you really like and enjoy. So there we go. So some of the key ones I really like are that people are more than their behaviour. People behave to the best that they can. They're working with the resources they've already got, dependent on all the other stuff they've got going on in here. They're more than that. And if we as coaches, as therapists, as counsellors, whichever direction you're taking this in, if we can see that they are more than that, then we can help to get them to see other behavioural options, other ways that they can show up. It helps us stay in that neutral position. So there's some stuff for you to be looking at and having a quick flick through if you want in there. It's really cool stuff. I really love looking at things like body language. I'll do you another video on that. But yeah, that's it from me. I'm going to have my tea now, play with Miss Nancy, and I cannot wait to see some of you that I'll be seeing on the 29th, and some of you I'll be seeing when we start online the following week. So have a super day, have a super week. I look forward to seeing you soon. Take care.